Now at 9, 2 southern Utah teens are recovering this Thanksgiving after they were hit by a suspected drunk driver. We have an update on their conditions tonight.
We barely got in our car to get out of the driveway. We couldn't have gone back in to get one thing, period.
An Iron County family loses everything when their home goes up in flames. How the community hopes to get them back on their feet. And how much snow do we need this winter to get back on track to beat the drought? Fox 13 is getting answers.
A clear and gorgeous Thanksgiving today, but coming up, I'm tracking some valley inversions, and also, do we have any storms on the horizon? I'll let you know.
Also, a popular tradition in Moab becoming a thing of the past. Why the fate of the Rally on the Rocks is now up in the air.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm Kelly Chapman. The holiday takes on another meaning this year for 2 hurricane families. Police say a drunk driver hit 2 teens while they were walking in a crosswalk on Tuesday morning. Fox 13's Emily Tenser has an update tonight on their conditions.
This 15-year-old hurricane teen is spending her Thanksgiving in the hospital with her mom, Leah Meekum, by her side.
It's just, crazy that it happened around Thanksgiving, because all I can feel is just grateful for.
Avery Meekum and her friend were legally walking in a crosswalk at this intersection at 300 West and State Street Tuesday at 10 a.m. when police say a man under the influence hit them with his truck. Anthony Williams was at the light and watched it happen.
It was like he didn't even notice that he hit them, because he would have just knocked her over, but he kept going. And then I watched her get pulled under the tire, and that was just, I've never seen nothing like that.
Her friend broke her arm, but is otherwise okay. As for Avery, her mom says she was run over, her pelvis crushed. Doctors performed surgery Wednesday morning.
Yeah, she'll have some pins and some plates and things forever. She loves dance and cheer and tumbling and all those things that we hope she can get back to.
Police records show 52-year-old David Garner is charged with 2 counts of DUI, refusal to submit a blood test, driving on a revoked license, and failure to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk. Both Meekum and Williams say this intersection has seen a lot of close calls and crashes.
And a lot of the other business owners right there on that corner, they came out and they said the same thing. They said that there's always accidents there. There's always people slamming on the brakes, almost hitting kids.
This Thanksgiving, the Meekum family is feeling thankful on a whole other level.
It takes on a whole new meaning for us. We will get through this and just look at the positives, because there are so many and so much to be grateful for.
Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We wish them the best. Tonight, an Iron County family is rebuilding their lives after they lost everything when their home burned down last night. Take a look at this dramatic cell phone video of the fire in Enoch. Kay Ayers, who lived in the home, says she was cooking a turkey roll when her son got home last night from school. She says she was eating in the living room when the fire started in the kitchen. Luckily, everyone in the home and all the pets were able to get out safely.
You know, every Thanksgiving, it seems like by rote, we say we're thankful for, so many things. But last night, we really realized how thankful we were, because we were all alive, and to be helped by the church and people so much, and people that are caring. It really makes you realize how thankful we really are.
The community is now coming together, hoping to raise money to help them get back on their feet. If you'd like to help, we do have a link to a GoFundMe fundraiser for the family on our website. You can find it at fox13now.com. A holiday shopping, it is stressful most years, but add in supply chain disruptions, labor shortages, and shipping delays, anxiety levels are sure to be at an all-time high. We spoke with Lon Schiffbauer. He's a business professor at Salt Lake Community College. He says there are steps you can take to help reduce your anxiety and fear after a year of COVID restrictions.
The third thing I recommend is don't get obsessed with the idea that you have to get this one individual unique item. Chances are there are going to be items that are just plain not available.
He's right. He says it is very important to do research online. Also stick to a budget so it cuts down on impulse buying. Most importantly, smile at retail workers and say thank you. It will make a big difference. This Thanksgiving, nearly 80% of Utah remains in an extreme drought, with the only hope coming from this winter's snow. Fox 13's Haley Higgins looks into the state of the snowpack and the effect on the drought.
Heavy snow in October had many thinking this winter could be exactly what the mountains need to help with the historic drought.
We started off the water year quite well.
Because of the wet autumn, we are still ahead of the curve when it comes to precipitation for this time of year at about 130%. The bad news, USDA hydrologists report the ever-important snowpack is half of what it should be.
Generally, statewide, we're unfortunately well below average for this time of year.
Well, there is some good news. The soil moisture levels are much better than last year. So this means when the snow does melt, more water will make it into the reservoirs.
This is a time where we would expect to see more on the ground than we're seeing right now, and it is disappointing that we're not looking at more in our mountain locations. But it is, again, still fairly new, this snowpack season, so we're still hopeful that things will turn around.
Hoping for snow and the end of the drought. In Big Cottonwood Canyon, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Hoping for snow. Keep your fingers crossed. You know, despite the little snowfall so far this month, Brighton, Solitude, Alta, and Bryan Head are already open to skiers and snowboarders. Park City Mountain Resort, Snowbird, Nordic Valley, and Deer Valley are planning to start running lifts sometime next week. If they could get a little help from Mother Nature, they'd sure appreciate it. Allison, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Unfortunately, not much help coming from Mother Nature here across the region, except for she is bringing us some really nice conditions. Today, dry roads for traveling. Happy to see that, but 32 degrees for Salt Lake and Ogden currently. For Provo, currently 28 degrees. We do have clear sky here across the region. We are going to have some increasing clouds thanks to a little system that's going to brush to our north heading into tomorrow, but current temperatures on this Thursday night, Thanksgiving evening, about 25 to 35 degrees for almost all of the state. Tomorrow, if you're doing any Black Friday shopping, temperatures will be about 30 degrees early in the morning, into the mid-30s by 10 a.m. and then by lunchtime we're into the 40s for tomorrow for Black Friday. So mid-40s for a high tomorrow, but almost all of us start the day right around freezing at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for Salt Lake, Ogden, and Provo. Mid to upper 40s for those highs heading into the next couple of days. We are going to be warming up. So do we have any storms on the horizon? I'll let you know coming up.
I'm glad that people are starting to take notice of what's happening inside the prison system.
COVID-19 has infected more than half the state's prison population. Now a state panel says standards of health care may have been violated.
And was a popular UTV festival pushed out of Grand County? What the organizers have to say and why some county leaders think the event was doing more harm than good.
Dozens of people come together to volunteer to bring Thanksgiving dinner to those in need. I'm at the Salvation Army and we'll tell you about it coming up.
Listen to this. A huge annual UTV event in Moab, attended by thousands from all across the country, is now canceled. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher explains organizers say Grand County leaders are trying to restrict off-road vehicles in Moab, but those leaders say the UTVs were negatively impacting the community.
With world-class rock crawling and unbeatable views, Moab is one of the most iconic off-roading places in the U.S.
It's just kind of the mecca of all things off-road.
Lance Chernos loves exploring the terrain with his UTV community.
Everybody just got to know the rally, and the Rocks is the rally.
Holding Rally on the Rocks in Moab since 2010.
We were arguably the premier event in the Western United States. We're doing it for the love of the sport and the love of trying to help people out and teach them how to side-by-side responsibly.
He says thousands of families travel from all over, including Canada and Mexico, for a week in May to check out dozens of vendors and enjoy guided trail rides.
Most of our trails get a dedicated police escort right through town.
He says the town embraced their event at first, and he worked hard to be a good neighbor, but things began to change a few years ago.
The primary reason and feedback we got from the politicians about the rally was the noise level.
And they would drive around town from 6 o'clock in the morning until sometimes after 12 o'clock at night.
Mary McGann, chair of the Grand County Commission, says hundreds of residents complained about UTVs in town, and a few thousand signed a petition pushing for rules on noise. The council tightened up a noise ordinance and ended up in a back and forth with Rally on the Rocks over event permit regulations.
We required that the participants sign a pledge committing to reducing noise levels.
We mandated that all of our participants come with a stock OEM exhaust and not the aftermarket loud ones.
They had to make sure that all of their participants, that their machines hit the decibel level required by our noise ordinance.
Being able to see if somebody's over a decibel or not in a live environment, it's impossible to enforce.
Our goal was to make it so that the event was not such a negative impact on the residents.
It was clear that their goal was to shut Rally on the Rocks down.
Moab Rally on the Rocks 2022 is officially canceled. Instead, Lance is organizing a sister event during the same week in Sand Hollow. He hopes they can someday return to Moab, return to the iconic terrain, and to the town. Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
People do love that event. Well, this hasn't happened at the University of Utah in nearly 2 decades, but this year, a student has been named a Rhodes Scholar. Quite the honor. There she is. Saba Sial is a senior finance major from Sandy and one of only 32 students in the entire United States awarded this prestigious scholarship. Rhodes Scholars are given tuition and living expenses for 2 years of international graduate study at Oxford University. That's in England. Sial is the 23rd Rhodes Scholar at the University of Utah since 1904. She's the first since 2002. Congratulations. The Salvation Army in Salt Lake City delivered 1,000 meals today to those in need this Thanksgiving holiday. One family hit a very special milestone of their own, giving back every single Thanksgiving. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph has that story that is positively Utah.
Potato! Hard at work in the kitchen of the Salvation Army.
So I'm supposed to be doing half scoops of this?
He's Maddie Thomas.
Dude, you know I've been working out these forearm muscles.
Manning the gravy station.
The gravy really makes or breaks it. Even though I don't even really understand what's exactly is in gravy.
She's making meals for those in need.
I love food, and I especially love Thanksgiving food. Oh, they've got the golden crust.
But despite her love for all this food,
you know those potatoes are good.
Her and her family, the Kleins, have been doing this every Thanksgiving now for 25 years.
This is my favorite part of Thanksgiving. I like it more than the meal, which is saying a lot. Yeah, we should get together for pie. I'm very, very blessed, and I feel like this is the least I can do.
They're just amazing. I don't know that we could do 1,000 meals without their help.
Speaking of 1,000 meals, that's more than the Salvation Army and its volunteers have ever done.
We've always done around the 800, 700, but this year we decided 1,000 was attainable, and we are ready to serve 1,000 meals to the community.
Once the meals are prepped, they're taken out to drivers waiting, lined up around the block, who then take them to homes of those in need.
From 6 meals at 3 different addresses that need to be delivered to 60 meals at 1 address for a facility.
So from assembling the meals in here to loading them into vehicles to be taken off.
Every volunteer and helper feels today is a day to give back.
I just feel like the joy I get from serving others is far greater than any joy I would get from digging into a pie or mashed potatoes and gravy or any of that good stuff.
It's like the one day we put all the other stuff away and we just focus on each other.
So for Maddie,
just rolling with it,
and the rest of her family, it looks like another 25 years of giving back on Thanksgiving Day.
Absolutely. Every year, man. I'm going to come back with my kids. I'm going to keep this going as long as possible.
Spencer Joseph.
Taters.
Fox 13 News, Utah.
Such a fun personality. That's great. Wonderful family tradition.
Yes.
Served with love there, Allison.
Absolutely. Well, here across Utah, no matter what you are doing today, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or you're working today or you're just at home by yourself, regardless, I hope you had a great day, and we had some really good weather for you. We had dry roads out there, which was nice to see. 46 degrees was our high today, which was perfectly normal, which isn't normal nice in a time where normal is not easy to come by anymore. Temperatures this morning made it to 26 degrees, so we were below average this morning by about 5 degrees, and that sun will rise tomorrow around 7:30 in the morning for Black Friday. Now we're going to end up with temperatures the next few days that are going to be pretty decent. Gorgeous evening though right now. This is the Deer Valley Bald Mountain camera. You can see the beautiful stars out in the sky. We do have some clouds off in the distance, but overall, just a really nice evening with those easy drives here across Utah. It's cold though, 32 degrees for what it feels like with light wind out of the south, 3 miles per hour, so not too bad of a breeze currently. We look at our current temperatures up towards the mountains, 27 for Park City, 25 for Heber, and then into Lehigh and Harriman, upper 20s right now. Mid-30s for Draper and low 30s currently for Ogden. Across the entire state, we've got temperatures that are cold right now. So a lot of us below freezing, except for St. George where it's in the mid-40s. Fairly light wind here across Utah currently, and we're going to see some additional cloud cover. So what this means for you is tomorrow between partly and mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures, though, will be on the rise, and then we're going to see some haze returning this weekend also. But tomorrow, Black Friday here in Salt Lake City, right below freezing, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., same thing, and then by 9 o'clock, we're back above freezing here in Salt Lake, and then into the 40s by lunchtime tomorrow. So overnight, 7 o'clock in the morning, we typically have our overnight lows right around sunrise, thanks to all of the hours of overnight cooling. So there's a fun fact. Next time you're at a family event and things get heated, bring up some fun weather facts. And we're going to end up with our temperatures by tomorrow afternoon. Really nice here across the state, close to 50 for Salt Lake, Park City, Moab, 49 degrees tomorrow. St. George near 60 with mostly sunny sky. And then a lot of Utah will make it into the mid-40s for your Friday afternoon. So if you're back at work tomorrow, not missing out on much. Those temperatures will be cold in the morning, and then here's your future cast across the region, since I know a lot of you are going to be traveling, hitting the airports, but here's what we're going to be dealing with by tomorrow at 10 a.m. We're going to have some rain and snow in the northeastern portion of the country, and also to our north, additional cloud cover as the system moves through. But what I think we're going to see out of that is just cloud cover here across Utah. Could see a few sprinkles, especially near the Idaho border tomorrow, but overall, we're just going to end up with temperatures the next few days pretty comfortable. St. George close to 70 by Sunday and Monday as Hanukkah is beginning into next week. Mid-60s through next Thursday, and for the Wasatch Front, 50s Saturday, Sunday through the rest of your 7-day forecast. And coming up later in the hour, I'll let you know what the extended outlooks are looking like for precipitation for days 8 to 14, so in week 2. We'll be right back.
That'll get us into December. Allison, thanks. Still ahead on Fox 13 News at 9, a proposed development that's supposed to help Salt Lake City's housing crisis is now on hold. We'll explain why. And don't forget, when you can't watch Fox 13 News live, you can always watch us streaming online for free. You can find us on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Pretty easy to do so. Just search Fox 13 on your device. We'll be right back. Get ready. Tomorrow is Black Friday, but retailers, they're not going to be the only ones who are pretty busy. Plumbers, are you ready for this? Kind of gross. They call it Brown Friday. Black Diamond experts in Salt Lake City tell Fox 13 they get a 25 to 30% uptick in calls for service on the day after Thanksgiving. You can imagine why. They say families are typically cooking more and invite a large crowd over to celebrate the holiday. The company's director of plumbing says this translates to a rise in requests from folks looking for help unclogging their sinks, and you got it, also their toilets.
Watch while you're putting down the drains. You know what I mean? Making sure that you're not putting stuff down there like the greases, stuff that's going to back it up. If you do get a small clog and you're in that kind of emergency state, I mean, you can even do some stuff yourself by maybe pulling apart the P-trap underneath the sink
Oh man, just what you want to do on your holiday, right? Okay, if you try some sort of home remedy, be careful. If it doesn't work, he does advise that you call a professional. Black Diamond Experts is open today for emergencies, but it is on a first come, first served basis. Hope your plumbing is doing well tonight. Well, this morning, over 3,000 runners, they braved the cold to help raise money for the Utah Food Bank. The Utah Human Race returned for its 16th year, a tradition for many. It took place in Sandy this year. Now, last year, the whole thing was held virtually due to COVID-19 restrictions. The Utah Food Bank says the pandemic has made the need for food even greater.
We struggled this year as we had to meet needs that almost tripled. We're seeing Utah families really struggling still to get back on their feet. The need is not reducing, but to come together today and know that all of these folks are willing to help us is so it's humbling, and we're so appreciative.
Even if you weren't able to take part in today's race, the Utah Food Bank says they are always looking for support. For more information on how you can help, please visit our website, fox13now.com.
A state panel says an inmate has a case against the prison system over how it handled the pandemic.
The inmates, they have a right to medical treatment regardless of what they did.
I'll tell you why this matters to other Utah families.
Plus, there's a fight going on right now to make period products more available and accessible in Utah schools. We'll explain why lawmakers may not even touch on a big part of this issue. And meet a hard-working crossing guard who really loves the kids she serves. We're going to show you the surprise she's getting from the Fox 13 Dream Team.
Many of these inmates that are saying the same things inside the Draper and Gunnison prisons didn't know each other.
We have heard similar reports about failure to change gloves.
This summer, the Fox 13 News investigative team told you how alleged poor infection controls allowed the novel coronavirus to spread inside the Draper prison. Now, investigative reporter Nate Carlisle has an update on what a state panel said about an inmate's lawsuit.
Damon Christ is a career criminal whose crimes include a child kidnapping conviction. But he's contended that he's still entitled to decent medical care and has filed a federal lawsuit against the Utah Department of Corrections. Among Christ's allegations are that medical staff mismanaged the pandemic by failing to take such basic precautions as changing gloves and isolating symptomatic inmates. 18 inmates at Utah's 2 prisons have died of COVID-19. Christ's lawsuit recently got a boost from the Utah Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing, which oversees medical providers in the state. This decision says the top medical officials at the prison violated standards of care. Christ's lawyers are now seeking to add the man in charge of prison health care, Tony Washington, to the lawsuit.
My initial reaction is just that I'm glad that people are starting to take notice of what's happening inside the prison system.
Brandy Gillespie has been critical of Washington for a year, ever since her husband, Jerry Gillespie, died after contracting COVID-19 at the Utah State Prison. He was 48.
I think that there needs to be very harsh consequences to Mr. Washington and to the people that are working underneath of him that are not providing proper care.
Gillespie has sent the Department of Corrections a notice of claim, a step toward a lawsuit.
The notice of claim does mention Mr. Washington as one of a number of individuals who we are alleging may or may not have comported with the standard of care. We have heard similar reports about failure to change gloves. We have heard similar reports about testing swabs being out of their initial packaging.
As of November 15th, the Department of Corrections reported about 3,100 inmates had contracted the virus during the pandemic. That's more than half the state's prison population. In Draper, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, the Utah Department of Corrections did not respond to Fox 13's request for comment. If you have a story you'd like the Fox 13 News investigative team to look into, email iteam@fox13now.com. You can also call the tip line. The number is 801-536-1314. Right now, investigators are looking into what caused a semi-truck trailer to catch fire in southwest Wyoming. Take a look here. The Uinta Fire Department said it started this morning on I-80 near Evanston. It did cause minor traffic delays. Firefighters say they took a break from cooking their own turkeys to go and put these flames out. Luckily, no one was hurt. A proposed development would help Salt Lake City's housing crisis, but the cost of supplies and the labor shortage has now put that project on hold. There's a vacant lot right at 400 East Cleveland in Liberty Wells. Developer Peter Caroon has big plans for affordable housing in that area. Take a look at this sketch. It shows a project with 7 townhomes ranging from 1 to 3 bedrooms. But Caroon says what he calls crazy high construction costs have kept him from moving forward. And he's afraid of what that might mean for the future.
What we're seeing is that construction costs are really unstable. We're seeing that contractors and subcontractors won't hold their costs and their bids and estimates for more than a month or two these days.
Caroon says he was close to getting the city to rezone the lot. However, the process stalled this year. On Utah's Capitol Hill, a bill now moving forward to make period products more available, also accessible in all Utah schools. But lawmakers may not touch on a big part of this issue. It's the tax on hygiene products. Fox 13's Ben Winslow explains why.
Girls are worth it, period.
On Capitol Hill, a couple hundred rallied last week in support of a bill that puts period products in every Utah school.
I am honored to sponsor this legislation.
Representative Carrie Ann Lisenby is running the bill with support from Republican leadership.
We need to do something, and we need to do it now. When young girls do not have access to period products, they miss school. They can suffer health risks. They may have lower confidence, feel shame, embarrassment, and sometimes they even withdraw from critical programs that hamper their future success.
But there's one issue lawmakers so far are not touching.
In 2019, we fought for ending what we called the tampon tax, which was the sales tax on period products.
A repeal of the tampon tax was actually included in a massive tax reform bill the legislature passed in 2019. But it only lasted a few months. That's when opponents of the overall tax bill successfully pushed a citizen referendum. The legislature repealed the bill, and the tampon tax was restored.
I think the legislature felt a little burned from having the public outcry over the big tax reform. And so I think what happened there is there was a hesitancy to touch the tax code at all after that.
For supporters of repealing the tampon tax, it's forced them to rethink their strategy.
We kind of took a step back and said, what are we doing here? What would have a bigger impact? And at this time, we'll get back to the sales tax. You can mark my words. But for now, the thing with a greater impact would be getting those period products in schools.
It remains to be seen if a repeal of the tampon tax will return in the next legislative session. The last sponsor of a tax repeal told Fox 13 he'll back Representative Lisenby's legislation instead. But supporters are not giving up.
We have men's items that are not taxed. We have Rogaine, we have Viagra. They don't incur a sales tax in our state. We've just excluded period products. So although I know we like to be careful, and I think it's wise to be careful with our tax code, this is just something that it's off balance.
On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still ahead, there is a wave of smash and grab robberies happening right now in some big cities across the country. What the thieves are getting away with as people start crossing items off their holiday shopping lists. Plus, we will show you the Thanksgiving holiday, how it was celebrated across the country. In national news on this Thanksgiving night, a wave of violent robberies are shaking up some major American cities this Thanksgiving holiday week. Smash and grab robbers hitting stores across the country during nighttime raids, sometimes even striking during the day. In recent weeks, the brazen thieves have made off with tens of thousands of dollars in expensive merchandise from high-end stores like Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Bloomingdale's, and Apple.
What we've seen is that the goods are stolen in one place and sold in another place. And so that's a network that we're in the process of uncovering and taking down.
In Oakland, California, police now beefing up their staffing after a security guard working with a local TV news crew was shot during an attempted robbery. The crew was reporting on a recent robbery at a clothing store when they were attacked. The injured security guard is a former police officer. He is expected to survive. There are still dozens of cargo ships and tens of thousands of containers just sitting off the coast of California, despite the president's efforts to address the supply chain crisis. Officials do hope the logjam will end soon. Shipping costs and container volume from Asia is down, but it does not mean lower prices or more inventory at Christmas. The Gap, Nordstrom, Nike, they all say supply chain problems are hurting sales.
Holiday goods are shipping right now at unprecedented rates, again, 20% above what the pre-pandemic numbers.
And get this, West Coast dock workers just rejected a contract extension. So if they stop working, gridlock returns, and with it, prices spike and shortages that experts already say will extend well into the next year will continue. Meantime, the return of spectators to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City today was one of many differences from last year's pandemic-hampered holiday. Chris Nguyen has a look at how Americans are giving thanks across the country and beyond.
Airports and roads are packed as many Americans head to their Thanksgiving celebrations.
It's good to finally feel kind of normal again.
AAA predicts Thanksgiving travel overall will rebound to near pre-pandemic levels, with more than 53 million Americans expected to travel for the holiday. In fact, the TSA says it screened 2.3 million people at airports on Wednesday, making it the busiest day at security checkpoints since March of 2020.
I'm thrilled to be going to Connecticut to spend the holiday with my son, and it's just very special.
Some people also giving back by volunteering at food distribution sites throughout the country.
I always want to show people that there's help and hope on the other side of the tunnel.
At the International Space Station, American astronauts getting into the spirit with their colleagues from other countries.
It'll be a very international Thanksgiving. And luckily, it doesn't take as long as to cook food in space because most of it's just being reheated.
The first family spending the holiday in Nantucket, but not before releasing this message from the White House.
Our table and our hearts are full of grace and gratitude for all those we love. And as Commander-in-Chief, I'm especially grateful to our service members and their families for the sacrifices to our nation.
Americans giving thanks as they gather together once again. In Washington, I'm Chris Nguyen.
She just loves people, and kids especially.
Still ahead, this hard-working crossing guard who gives her all is receiving an incredible gift. The Thanksgiving edition of the Fox 13 Dream Team when we come back.
On the night before the Utah football team plays Colorado, a couple of youths will tell us what they like to eat for Thanksgiving. And the NFL is always a big day on Thanksgiving with a good game in Dallas to the Cowboys and Raiders. The highlights are on the way.
That's Deshaun Check. The Fox 13 Dream Team is brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union with support from Woodside Homes and Macy's.
A treat for you tonight. It is time for the Thanksgiving edition of the Fox 13 Dream Team. Recently, we heard about a humble woman who goes above and beyond to make the kids in her own neighborhood feel safe, and we couldn't wait to surprise her. Here's Fox 13's Bob Evans.
Alana Reed is a crossing guard for Mountain View Elementary School in Salt Lake City. She was nominated to become a Dream Team recipient by Wendy Turner, who owns this cafe right near the school.
She's grew up here, lived here her whole life. She was married and her husband passed away.
But Alana still has love to give.
She just loves people, and kids especially. We live in a diverse neighborhood. She makes them where they don't feel different. We're all together, and she helps them across the street, talks to them, she knows their families.
She has four-legged friends too.
There's a little dog on the corner there, and he barks at all the kids. He seems ferocious, but he's a cute little dog, and so she'll bring little treats for him.
Wendy asked the Fox 13 Dream Team to get a new coat for Alana to keep her warm on the job. And when her shift ends today, we're going to be the last kids to cross the road with her. And boy, have we got surprises for her. How long have you been holding this stop sign?
In the 4 years I've been here, I have not had one car accident or one child get hit by the cars. Not one.
I do my best. I get swore at and flipped off and stuff like that all the time, but I'm still coming back for more.
Why do you do what you do?
I love the kids. Oh, I could just squeeze all of them.
In commemoration of all those turkeys who flip you off, we've got something for you as well on top of all of that. Ben, do you want to...
Oh, boy.
Joining us today is Claire from Woodside Homes.
I'm with Woodside Homes, and we wanted to give you this coat because we want you to stay warm and keep loving on those kids. You know, I do stay pretty warm because I'm always on the go. Yeah, I'm pretty busy.
Also with us is Kristalina from Mountain America Credit Union.
And we are so honored to have you as our Dream Team recipient this month. With all that you do to serve your community and have for years, from what I understand, right? We're so excited to give you a surprise. Do you want to open this box? There you go. Here we go. We'll just open it right here. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I love you guys. I love all of you. I love your kids.
From the Fox 13 Dream Team, thank you, thank you,
thank you so much. Thank you. I love you guys, and thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving!
Makes you feel good, doesn't it? And get this, Alana, she's so humble. She says that today she would be sharing that turkey, also the $1,000 she'll be sharing with others. If you'd like to nominate someone for a Dream Team surprise, go to our website, click on the nomination form, and tell us all about them. Let us know what they might need. Also, give us an idea for how we could possibly, maybe, surprise them. I just love a good surprise, and I love a happy ending, Allison.
It's like, here's the question, does it seem like a Hallmark movie? If the answer is yes, Kelly is going to love it.
I'm in. Yeah. I mean, you got me. Just get me the tissues,
yes,
too.
All in on that. And hey, now that Thanksgiving is almost officially over, it's over, I mean, it is no longer frowned upon to have those Christmas decorations out. Plus, we have Hanukkah starting this weekend, so we've got all kinds of fun stuff ahead. 32 degrees here in Salt Lake City right now. Same thing for Ogden. Provo currently 28 degrees. Right now here in Salt Lake, we do have moderate air quality. The forecast for Friday and Saturday, still voluntary action along with the moderate air. It's usually 3 days after a cold front when the haze returns, when we start seeing those inversions building. So we are going to likely see that building again come Saturday. For tonight into tomorrow morning, increasing clouds. By tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we are still close to freezing for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. You'll also notice up into southern Idaho the chance for some light snow and light rain. But what we're mostly going to be seeing here across Utah will be cloud cover and still cool temperatures for tomorrow. Close to 45 degrees for Salt Lake, Ogden, and Provo for tomorrow afternoon. For St. George, you are around 60 degrees for your Black Friday. Saturday, 64 degrees, 67 on Sunday, and into next week we will continue with those temperatures in the upper 60s with sunshine in your super duper 7-day forecast, as Jeff Rainier affectionately calls it. This is the 7-day forecast, the super 7 days when we can click on each day and go a little more in depth for you. So for Black Friday tomorrow, those temperatures will make it into the 40s by 11 a.m. But if you are going to be heading out first thing tomorrow morning, plan for temperatures to be about 30 degrees. Same thing Saturday morning as you're getting your morning going. If you're going to go up and do some skiing on Saturday, we're going to have some temperatures in the mid-20s for you at 8 a.m. up in the Cottonwood Canyons. We'll have partly cloudy sky. And by Sunday, if you have guests in town or you're in town visiting and you want to wake up, have some breakfast, go for a walk first thing Sunday morning before you head out, those temperatures here in Salt Lake will be in the mid-30s at 8 a.m. and into the 40s by 10 a.m. on Sunday. Now by Monday, here's what you need to know. Your top headlines heading into next week. We'll have some decent temperatures for you as high pressure will still be in charge. Valley inversions will be possible into the early part of next week. And then also we have no major storms in our 7-day forecast. By next Tuesday, 55 degrees, partly cloudy sky as we show you this future cast throughout the day on Tuesday, some passing clouds, but overall, not a whole lot happening here across the region. Overnight temperatures will continue to be in the mid-30s through next week, middle of the week. And then by next Wednesday and Thursday, I want to quickly show you on days 8 to 14 what you can expect for precipitation. This is our rain outlook for days 8 to 14. Most of Utah in the gray area, that's normal precipitation. The areas of green means we could potentially be a little bit wetter than usual for this time of the year, and that would be as we're starting into December. So we do have a few more chances for some storms by next weekend, but this weekend will remain dry.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's a great holiday, good food, family with friends, and the NFL. The Raiders and Cowboys battled in Dallas. First drive of the game for the Raiders, and it's Derek Carr. Fires it to Deshaun Jackson. Gets by the final defender, 71-yard touchdown. Raiders up 7-0. The Raiders were up 11 points in the third quarter after a Marcus Mariota TD run. But on the ensuing kickoff, Tony Pollard turns it on. A foot race to the goal line, and Pollard wins it 100 yards for the score. Late in the fourth quarter with the Cowboys down 8, Dak Prescott finds former Bingham Miner Dalton Schultz, 32-yard touchdown, his 4th of the season. Prescott went back to Schultz for the 2-point try, and they got it, tying the score up at 30. This game went to overtime, and the Raiders won it 36-33 on this field goal, ending a 3-game losing streak. Detroit Lions were at home against the Chicago Bears. Great start for the Lions. Still searching for their first win of the season. Jared Goff to Josh Reynolds, 39-yard touchdown. Detroit up 7-0. The Bears answered back in the second quarter. Andy Dalton gets it to Jimmy Graham. He's in the end zone, 17-yard touchdown pass, and the Bears led it 13-7 at the half. Back came the Lions in the third. Goff again to T.J. Hawkinson, and the Lions are up 14-13. But the Bears kicked the winning field goal in the final play of the game to win it 16-14, ending their 5-game losing streak. In the final game of the day, the Bills took on the Saints. Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, touchdowns. The Bills led it 10-0 at the half. Third quarter now. Allen waits for Stephon Diggs to get open, fires a touchdown strike. This was all Buffalo. Allen threw 4 touchdown passes, 2 going to Knox, who scored on this 4th down play. The Bills won it 31-6. With former BYU Cougar Taysom Hill on the sideline as the emergency QB for the Saints. He was out with a foot injury. The 19th ranked Utes will take on Colorado tomorrow. Final game of the regular season at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Some of the players were asked about their favorite Thanksgiving food.
So my great-grandpa is the one that started Little America, the hotel. So yeah, we like to go there, all the Covey cousins, and eat some crab legs.
I love my mom's stuff, and I can't complain there. It's always hitting home.
Well, I'm from Hawaii, so we like Korean barbecue. You know, Hawaiian Korean barbecue, Kahlua pig, kalbi, you know, Korean short ribs, all that kind of stuff.
You can watch the Utes take on Colorado right here on Fox 13 this Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. My wife made a lovely meal, and I understand you were busy in the kitchen.
Oh, I enjoy doing it, so I don't mind it at all. But I am still full from eating dinner at 2. Yeah. Still full. Britton Covey, though, eating well with his crab legs.
That's part of the buffet
at the Little America.
Thanksgiving buffet.
He's living well.
There you go.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll be right back. We're grateful you're watching tonight. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. QuickCast is next.